If I only had 30 bucks, these are the gaming mouse that I would buy. VXE R1. This is one of those mice that genuinely surprises you with how much performance you can get for so little money. The moment I got my hands on the VXE R1, I was struck by how incredibly light it is, coming in at just 51 grams. In fast-paced shooters, that translated a movement that felt quicker and more precise than many pricier competitors I've tested. The matte coating is another highlight. Even during intense sweaty gaming sessions, it maintained a solid, non-sticky grip, which is a huge plus compared to some other budget options that get slick over time. It features a high-end PAW 3395 sensor, which provided flawless lag-free tracking. While the battery life is decent at around 35 hours, it's not the best I've seen. But it's more than enough for a few long gaming nights. Honestly, for anyone serious about competitive FPS gaming who doesn't want to drop $150, the R1 is a no-brainer. It delivers pro-level specs at a fraction of the cost. Mchose G3. The Mchose G3 immediately feels familiar and comfortable, and for good reason. It's a direct take on the beloved Logitech G305 shape. I found its symmetrical design solid and easy to grip, and at 64 grams, it's light enough to feel nimble without being floaty. What I really appreciate in my day-to-day use is its tri-mode connectivity, being able to switch seamlessly between 2.4 GHz for gaming, Bluetooth for my laptop, and a wired connection is incredibly practical. The PAW 3311 sensor with up to 12,000 dpi provided smooth and reliable tracking in every game I threw at it. With no noticeable lag on the 2.4 GHz connection, the clicks feel satisfyingly tactile without being overly loud, and the overall build quality is surprisingly sturdy for the price point. This is the perfect mouse for someone who wants a versatile do-it-all workhorse for both gaming and productivity without any fuss. If I only had 30 bucks, I would buy the VXE R1 because its lighter weight and superior sensor gives it a slight edge for my competitive FPS gaming habits. If I only had $50, these are the gaming mouse that I would buy. VXE R1 PRO. This is the mouse that completely reset my expectations for what a $50 mouse could be. The moment I put my hand on the R1 Pro, the build quality felt shockingly premium. It's incredibly rigid and solid, with zero creaks or flex, which is just unheard of at this price. In-game, the tracking feels identical to mice that cost 4 times as much. Thanks to the flawless sensor, the clicks are crisp and spammable, and the sub-50G weight makes it feel like an extension of your hand. My only minor gripe is the rubberized coating, which might get a little slick if you have sweaty hands, but for most people, it just adds to the premium feel. Honestly, this isn't just a great budget mouse. It's a top-tier competitive mouse that just happens to be cheap. It's the perfect choice for any serious gamer who wants the elite performance without emptying their wallet. Attack Shark X3. The Attack Shark X3 is a perfect example of getting a spec sheet that seems too good to be true, and for the most part, it delivers. For under $50, you're getting a mouse with a high-end PAW 3395 sensor, and in my testing, the tracking was perfectly stable and accurate for casual FPS and MOBA games. The build is surprisingly solid for the cost, and the main clicks feel nice and snappy. However, this is where I noticed the trade-offs. The click latency, while fine for casual play, feels a bit less responsive than the R1 Pro in really intense competitive situations. I also found the plastic shell to be a bit slippery without any side grips, and my unit had some minor side-to-side wobble on the main buttons. It's a fantastic mouse if you're just getting into lightweight wireless options and primarily play for fun, but small inconsistencies hold it back from being a true giant killer. If I only had $50, I would buy the VXE R1 Pro because its build quality and click implementation feel far more refined, delivering a truly competitive, great experience with no compromises. If I only had $70, these are the gaming mouse that I would buy. Razer Viper V3 HyperSpeed. The Viper V3 HyperSpeed is one of those mice that just feels right at the moment you grip it. It's a workhorse that completely disappears in your hand during long gaming sessions when I first put it through its paces in CS2. What struck me was the balance despite running on a single AA battery, which I usually dislike. Razer somehow kept the weight from feeling biased to the rear. It used the same top-tier Focus Pro 30K sensor as Razer's premium mice, so tracking is flawless and I never had to spin it out on me. The main clicks, however, use mechanical switches that feel a bit stiffer and louder than the opticals on its more expensive siblings, which is a subtle reminder that it's a mid-tier mouse. The major trade-off here is weight for battery life. At around 82 grams, it's not as ultra-light, but I went for weeks without even thinking about charging. This mouse is the perfect choice for someone who wants rock-solid, reliable wireless performance from a brand they trust and prioritizes battery life over having the absolute lightest mouse on the market. Attack Shark R6. Honestly, the Attack Shark R6 feels like it shouldn't exist at this price point. It's so ridiculously light it almost feels like a hollow shell, but the build is surprisingly solid with no creaks or rattles. At just 39 grams, it's significantly lighter than almost anything else out there, and that made a noticeable difference in my aim, making micro adjustments feel effortless. I was skeptical about a budget mouse boasting a top-tier PAW 3950 Max sensor and an 8000 Hz polling rate, but the performance is flawless and feels just as responsive as mice double its price. The shape is a comfortable, symmetrical design that worked great for my claw grip, though the ice feeling coating is so effective I didn't even need the included grip tapes. If there's a catch, it's that you're buying from a lesser-known brand, but the value is undeniable. This is a mouse built for the competitive player who wants bleeding-edge specs, the lowest possible weight, and is willing to look past the big brand names to get an incredible deal. If I only had $70, I would buy the Attack Shark R6 because the combination of its extreme 39 grams weight and 8 kHz polling rate offers a competitive advantage that is simply unheard of at this price. If I only had $100, these are the gaming mouse that I would buy. ENDGAME GEAR OP1 8K V2. The OP1 8K V2 is one of those mice that proves you don't need a wild new design to be one of the best. The moment I got my hands on it, the first thing that struck me was the incredible build quality. It feels absolutely bomb-proof with no creaks or flex, which is impressive for a mouse that weighs just under 50 grams. In-game, that 8000 Hz polling rate isn't just a number on a spec sheet. I felt the difference in responsiveness as the click and motion latency are among the lowest I've ever tested. This is a wired mouse, and while the cable is decent, the real story is the raw, unfiltered performance you get from that direct connection. However, the shape is not for everyone. It's a fairly small house that absolutely perfect my claw grip, but palm grippers or anyone with larger hands will likely find it too compact. This is a pure performance tool for the competitive player who prioritizes speed and reliability over wireless freedom. Scyrox V8. The Scyrox V8 genuinely surprised me, coming in as an ultra-lightweight wireless option that punches way above its price tag. Picking it up feels almost strange. At just over 40 grams, it's so light that it almost feels like nothing is in your hand, making quick flicks so effortless. Despite its weight, the build is impressively sturdy with the soft matte finish that feels great. It's packed in a top-tier PAW 3950 sensor and can hit an 8000 Hz polling rate wirelessly, which puts its raw performance right up there with the most expensive mice on the market. The shape is clearly designed for claw grip with a pronounced rear hump that gives great palm support. The main trade-off I found, however, is the battery life. If you run it at that 8K polling rate, be prepared to charge it frequently, as it drains the battery pretty quickly. The Scyrox V8 is perfect mouse for a gamer who wants the competitive advantage of a feather-light wireless design and is willing to manage the battery for that top-tier performance. If I had to spend my own $100, I would buy the ENDGAME GEAR OP1 8K V2 for its superior build quality and flawless wired latency, which provides a more consistent and reliable experience for competitive play. And now it gets interesting. If I had only unlimited amount of money to spend on a gaming mouse, here's what I would buy. Razer DeathAdder V4 Pro. When you want every single competitive advantage the market can offer, the Razer DeathAdder V4 Pro is what you get. This mouse is practically on the edge of cheating. In my hand, the ergonomic shape just melts in my hand. But I have larger hands, so you should definitely keep that in mind. Playing fast-paced shooters, the tracking honestly felt telepathic. I've tested dozens of fast mice, but the 8000 Hz polling rate here is a different beast entirely. It creates a connection so smooth, it feels like the cursor is hardwired into your brain. The clicks are optical, making them incredibly fast and responsive for those crucial quick taps. I did notice a tiny bit of creak when I death gripped it during a tense final circle, but in normal use, the build feels absolutely solid. Honestly, this mouse is overkill for most, but if you're a competitive FPS player who obsesses over latency and wants the absolute pinnacle of sensor and polling technology, this is your endgame mouse. Logitech G Pro X SUPERLIGHT 2. The SUPERLIGHT 2 doesn't try to reinvent the wheel, instead it perfects a design that's already an esports legend. The first thing that hit me when I picked this up is how it's almost impossibly light at just 60 grams. It truly feels like nothing is in your hand, which helps a ton with fatigue. Its famous safe shape is the main reason so many pros swear by it. It just works for almost any hand size or grip style, which I can say for the more specialized DeathAdder. The clicks are Logitech's new hybrid optical mechanical switches, and they have the satisfying heavier stab to them that I personally really enjoyed, though I know some people might find them a bit less sensitive than pure opticals. For me, this is the ultimate workhorse. The battery seems to last forever at up to 95 hours, and they finally added a USB-C port, which is a massive quality of life win. This is the mouse for the player who values reliability and a proven ultra-comfortable shape over chasing the absolute highest numbers on a spec sheet. Between the two, I'd personally buy the Logitech G Pro X SUPERLIGHT 2 because its versatile shape is more comfortable for my grip over long gaming sessions, and its reliability is legendary for a reason. Right guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you pick the best gaming mouse for you. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Links to all of these products mentioned in this video will be in the description. Alright, peace out.